The signs were there, and we missed them. That's what people who have been played by manipulation tactics say when they finally wake up and exit. What are those early signs? Here are 9 to watch out for. Sign 1, the rush. Manipulators are in a hurry. If you're matched with one on a dating site, they're in a hurry to get your WhatsApp or email. They're in a hurry to meet, then find a way to cross a commitment threshold, because they know that time is on your side, not theirs. And that's a key to understanding when someone is influencing you versus manipulating you. Normal influence seeks to create a win-win. Manipulation seeks to create a win-lose. They win, you lose. Manipulation, by definition, is unbalanced, and it's also deceptive. One of the ways you can smell the deception is when you feel like they're rushing you. If you are strong in yourself, healed, and living in a powerful place, you won't take the bait to feel rushed. One religion tries to baptize you within a few weeks of the first investigator lesson. Take it slow. And if you don't allow yourself to be rushed, the manipulator often moves on. Sign 2, the love bomb. Who doesn't like a lot of attention? If you're starving for love, you welcome the intensity the new relationship brings you. If you're investigating a new religion, isn't it cool to have new instant friends to help you? These are examples of a love bomb, a tactic used by manipulators to make you feel special, loved, and part of the new group through an intensive attention and love phase. The problem is threefold. First, they are trying to fog your ability to evaluate their claims with the intense emotions the love bombing brings. Second, it's a false friendship. The love bombing is a means to an end. So third, once you've crossed a commitment threshold, the love and friendship will stop or shift dramatically. If someone is coming on a bit too strong, be cautious. A neighbor turned on an intense friendship vibe, raising my suspicions. My suspicions were confirmed when he hit me up for college tuition for his son. Because, good friends pay for college tuition, right? Yikes. When I declined, the overly friendly relationship turned into an awkward hatred where he tried to recruit other neighbors to dislike me. Luckily, they too had been through his BS and let me know what he was up to. That brings us to sign 3, isolation. If someone is trying to cut you off from other relationships through criticism, attacks, or other means, that's an early warning sign of a toxic relationship. Healthy people and organizations can take the scrutiny and might welcome it. Unhealthy people try to villainize others, so you're less likely to be influenced by them. The same is true for information sources. They villainize those so you don't gather information critical of them. Instead, when you sense isolation or an information control move, you're seeing a manipulator, and you have the option of staying open to people and information sources. Sign 4, boundary challenges. Manipulators hate it when you fence them in. You don't want to be contacted after a certain hour. They will. Do you prefer texting to phone calls? They'll do what they want and ignore you. You ask them to give you some space for a few days or a week. They won't. Welcome to the world of manipulators, where they see how much power they can gain by violating requests. For the manipulator, it's a game in that every time they violate a boundary and have no consequences, they gain a little power. So watch and see how your requests and your boundaries are honored. Know that whenever you don't speak up about the boundary violation, they will respect you a little less and take the power you've given them. Sign 5. Harsh criticism. Once you're in the relationship, you often see another manipulation tactic: criticism. You're never good enough. They may even say their criticism is intended to help you, but it's not. The game is to belittle, undermine, and let you know who is superior in the relationship. Some religions gain control over you by saying that God has certain standards, and guess what? You're not meeting them. Criticism seeks to gain a type of control that most cults try to get, and that's behavioral control. The BITE model is an acronym that stands for control and behavior, information, thoughts, and emotions. Cults, manipulative people, and some religions attempt to get control in these areas because if they can, they control your life. When you see it, you can either renegotiate the relationship or exit. Sign 6. This feels off. You might feel anxious, depressed, or may develop symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You might not know why, but it feels off. You feel off. Sometimes manipulators are very careful, so it's hard to pin down exactly why this doesn't feel good, but it doesn't. Withdraw for a while from the religion, person, or organization if possible to regain your footing. Often you need time to examine the relationship, why you feel the way you do, and what's best for you. High control people and organizations won't want you to take time away from them, but do this for you. Sign 7. Gaps and breakdowns aren't getting addressed. Every relationship experiences gaps in expectations, breakdowns, or problems. In healthy relationships, you talk it through and you adjust. In unhealthy relationships, you see denial, blame shifting, counter-accusations, lies, or attempts to confuse you. That's gaslighting. Gaslighting might be the worst of all the manipulation tactics because it's designed to make you question reality. Gaslighting never acknowledges your views or your feelings, but seeks to get you to adopt a false narrative that gives the manipulator more power. With one highly manipulative person, I walked away confused and defensive, wondering if one of us was crazy because even the smallest issues were never acknowledged, much less resolved. Welcome to gaslighting. Manipulative people can't take responsibility and avoid all forms of accountability. I won't go into the psychology of why they put so much energy into avoiding any responsibility, but when you see it, you're in a much better position to know what's going on. That brings us to the next sign. Sign 8. Exploiting weaknesses and secrets. You might be shocked when a manipulator brings us something you told them in confidence. It's by design. Since they seek power over you, they will use any means possible to achieve that goal. The same is true of your weaknesses. I was with a partner who waited until I was tired, almost falling asleep when she would bring something up. That's exploitative. That's certainly not intended to create a win-win resolution. A religious leader told me that if I left his religion, I would spend eternity in hell, and my family would reject me in this life. Huh, seriously, dude? When you see it, you'll know who you're dealing with. And that brings us to the final sign. Sign 9. Counter-accusation. It's part of gaslighting, but it's used so much that I decided to call it out as the final sign in today's video. When you bring up something uncomfortable for the manipulator, they have no answer other than to attack you with some form of accusation. It's ugly when it happens. When I asked a pastor to explain some Bible contradictions, he said that those who have sinned in their lives question the Bible. Sin? Am I the problem? What does that have to do with the contradiction? Counteraccusation shifts the focus from them to you, putting you on the defensive. When I first saw this, I was confused and started to defend myself. But over time, I saw through the technique and stopped the conversation to shift it back to them. We can talk about me later, but right now, I want to know if you have insights on what I just brought up. A supervisor used this with an employee who was often late, but when asked why, they wouldn't bother with an excuse but would counter-accuse. The supervisor learned how to cut through the tactic. We can talk about my skills as a supervisor later, but right now, I need to talk to you about on-time arrival. We can't continue with late arrivals. So can you shift the focus back to the manipulator when they counter-accuse. Be safe out there, friends. There are so many manipulators, but when you learn to see and navigate them, you stay safe and let them know that it's time for them to grow up. Thanks for joining us today at the Change Capability Institute today.